Moti.
Source of influencers.
Who is your all-time favorite bodybuilder?
Woo!
Who was it when you
All
got started, and who is it right now?
When I get started, well, you know, everybody loves Arnold, man. Cannot argue with your favorite bodybuilder because that's something that drove me too. You know, looking at I used to looking at Arnold movies, you know, for example, and see that guy, you know, even though he was that guy, but he was a bodybuilder before that. So, you know, seeing that guy, even Sylvester Stallone, that's not a bodybuilder, but I used to look at Rambo and like the muscles he had when he was shooting the guns and stuff. So it's like that's something that inspired me a lot. But to come back on your question, like Arnold, Lee Haney, and I cannot argue that the greatest of all time. I have to go with Dexter Jackson because as soon as I started to follow the bodybuilding scene, I always loved the way Dexter Jackson looked. Like the complete, always dry symmetry. You try to pick, you try to pick things on his body that's in balance and there's nothing. Like so, for me, and especially because why I'm saying it now, he's 1 month away of being 50 years old. Placed fourth yesterday in the Mr Olympia. Then, well, that sets the bar of greatest of all time higher for me personally. I know a lot of people won't agree with me, but man, you gotta respect what he did, man. Definitely.
And if you put all Mr. Olympias in their best shape of all eras on one stage, who would be the winner? Who would be Mr. Olympia?
If you put all the Mr. Olympias on stage together, it will be Mr. Olympia. In my opinion. Do you ask for my opinion or what?
I just want to know who is the best Mr. Olympia if you put all the shapes on their best, all the Mr. Olympias on one stage together in their best shape they ever had. Who will be the winner?
I will go with Lee Haney. I will go with Lee Haney. But that's bodybuilding, man. Everybody looks a different way at somebody else, right? And Lee Haney, especially for his time, this man was a buff and he was in front of everybody. People couldn't chase him. People were chasing him, but they couldn't reach. And yeah, I think if I have to go out of my personal preference, that's what I would say.
What is your personal preference?
Lee Haney.
Lee
That's
Haney.
my personal preference.
Oh, that.
But if I have to guess, like who would win, who would the judges pick? Cannot argue that they would say Ronnie Coleman. Yeah. If I'm judging, I have to pick. It's Lee Haney.
So you
Yeah.
think Ronnie Coleman would still dominate this era if he still was in his prime?
Yeah. The 2003 Ronnie was 2003. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. You look sick, you look crazy. He would dominate definitely. I mean, who could have beat him? I mean, even back in the day. And look at the bodybuilders that were chasing him. They were all grades, all great bodybuilders. You know, Jay Cutler, Dexter Jackson, Gustavo Bodell. Phew.
So what is it different that Ronnie has? Is it his mass, his symmetry, his conditioning?
Yeah, I think mass, symmetry, and conditioning, crazy conditioning, especially the combination of mass and conditioning that he used to bring because guys back like that didn't come in that crazy condition that he was coming into. So that's what they would pick. It's not what I would pick, but that's what I think the judges will go for. Yeah. But I like what I like. So if I have to, you can call me crazy, but I would pick Dex's body instead of um, Ronnie's body. Pure symmetry, structure wise, you know, waist, legs. He's not freaky, but it's something pretty to look at. And that's the beauty of bodybuilding. You look at something you're like, wow, like like a little kid. I want to look like that. And Dex is that guy for me. So that's why it's yeah, kind of easy for me to say, okay, this, but it will sound a little bit crazy on the other side because hey, Ronnie, you cannot argue that Ronnie is like one of the all-time greats, and he brought something to the stage that nobody did. You know, that like 3D muscle on muscle, and I mean, I don't know if we're ever gonna see something like that again. But
What about William Bonac? Don't you think he has a similar physique as Dexter Jackson?
uh, it's not similar, but he got the same guideline as Dexter. Always coming in shape, always round muscle, on point, symmetry. So hey man, William, respect for William, man, because he brings it every single time. And as a as a bodybuilder myself, I know how hard it is. To constantly be consistent, right? And that's what I like about Dexter too, because he's consistently like 20 years consistent, and William is following in his footsteps. Structure wise, William is different, but body shape and condition wise, hey, can't argue, man. Can't argue that he is not living up to his hype, as in being consistently consistent. Only can respect that. Cannot argue with that at all. Yeah,
Okay, thank you for the interview, man.
yeah,
I
man. You're
appreciate
very
it.
welcome, man. I really appreciate your time, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to introduce myself to the world. All good, man. All good.
Follow the Moti on Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat.